I'm Liz Faubles, and this is Currents. Celebrating Catholic Schools Week in the Diocese of Brooklyn.
It's a celebration week, and to celebrate what we do is important.
Plus, a church in Indy opens its doors to the Super Bowl crowd. And it's back to school as we head to Flushing for our latest School of the Week.
Each child is special, each child is different, and they're treated that way here.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Well, the Super Bowl is just 3 days away. Our hometown Giants are set to take on the New England Patriots in Indianapolis. We will talk to a priest in the thick of it all. But as most fans know, it is Media Week with TV, newspapers, and websites hyping up the big game. But this week is also significant here in the U.S. for a much different reason. It is Catholic Schools Week, a period set aside to focus on everything academically and spiritually Catholic schools have to offer. And that included celebrations here in the Diocese of Brooklyn, where Bishop Nicholas DiMarcio paid a visit to Blessed Sacrament School in Cypress Hills.
Catholic Schools Week is important because we emphasize the role of Catholic schools, and we compliment those who are working so hard to keep Catholic schools going. It's a celebration week, and to celebrate what we do is important.
This is a week of celebrating the many traditions, but also the vision of ensuring that Catholic schools will be here for generations to come. When you look at Catholic schools, they have been beacons of light for many years. This year's theme of faith, academics, and service is just another reason why Catholic schools are so important here in Brooklyn and Queens.
Those are the hallmarks of who we are. We're a faith community, and our faith rests in Jesus, and our schools are based in gospel teachings. We are noted for the excellent academic programs that we provide all over the diocese. And of course service, because service really makes us who we are, and our students really learn how to give back to the larger community.
We try to go to different schools, so this was kind of the turn around this area to come here, so we try to cover the diocese in various areas.
It gives him a sense of what is happening in the schools within the Diocese of Brooklyn. We chose Blessed Sacrament as a school that has excellent leadership, committed faculty, and students who really want to learn.
Our school is a haven, and it's an ideal for kids who are looking for that kind of a future, which is hopeful and safe and Christian. It's a great environment that they don't find in too many other places in this neighborhood. Catholic Schools Week was big. We had a lot of parents come, and they observed the classes yesterday, but the high point of the week would have been the bishop's visit.
We began preparing about 3 weeks ago when I found out the bishop was going to be here, and the children have been really excited about it. They like to show off, too. They like to show off their talents. They love to perform, and it was an opportunity for them to show their abilities and their talents to the bishop.
I would like to ask you if you are aiming to become cardinal or pope.
We play Stump the Bishop because it's a chance to get them to ask me things spontaneously. I took off the table the new math because last year, a couple of years ago, I think, I got a question on the new math. I didn't even know what he was talking about. And the one kid responded and says, "I want to be a bishop." He had the idea in his head. So it's great to hear them, and their spontaneity, their honesty. It's great.
The Catholic identity of our schools is first and foremost.
You can get an education at a public school, and you can get a good education at a public school, but you don't get the love of God. And I think we teach a lot more respect, and we teach Christian and Catholic values, which you're not going to get in a public school.
It's very important that the kids are thankful for the sacrifices their parents make, and I ask them to go home and say thank you from Bishop DiMarcio for the sacrifices they make and sending them to Catholic schools.
We have the best kids in the world, parents.
We're working diligently to make sure that this school also becomes part of the whole idea of academy. It's the only way that we'll be able to stabilize ourselves and make sure that we're good for the next 100 years, because that's how long we're here now.
As we look to the future, it shouldn't be 1 week, it should be every day. We need to get the message out about what our schools are doing, what our principals are doing, what our pastors are doing, and now most recently what our boards of directors are doing. So Catholic Schools Week is not 1 day, it's many days, and something we should be proud of each and every day throughout the school year.
They are so cute. Well, later on in the show, we'll take you inside one of the diocese's other vibrant schools for our latest School of the Week. But stay tuned, there is more currents ahead. Vandals strike at a Brooklyn church. We'll have that and the rest of the day's headlines next. Welcome back to Currents. I'm Liz Faubles. Coming up later, we travel to Flushing to visit our latest school of the week. But first, let's have a look at the day's headlines. Well, arrangements for the funeral of Cardinal Anthony Bevilacqua have been announced. Bevilacqua, a Brooklyn native and retired Archbishop of Philadelphia, died on Tuesday night. He had been suffering with cancer and dementia. He was 88 years old. Bevilacqua was known for his work advocating for the rights of immigrants. He was the founding director of the Brooklyn Diocese Migration Office. He was named an auxiliary bishop in 1980, 3 years before Pope John Paul selected him to be the Bishop of Pittsburgh. In 1987, he was named Archbishop of Philadelphia and was elevated to Cardinal in 1991. A public viewing for Cardinal Bevilacqua will take place on Monday night, February 6th, at Philadelphia's Cathedral Basilica of St. Peter and Paul. Another viewing will take place on Tuesday morning before a funeral mass at 2 p.m. celebrated by Philadelphia Archbishop Charles Chaput. While bishops continue to speak out against the new Health and Human Services mandate, the Obama administration announced more than a week ago that most religious organizations would have to comply with the new rule. The organizations will be required to provide contraception and sterilization in their health insurance plans, even if it violates their beliefs. Washington Archbishop Cardinal Donald Wuerl says the ruling is unprecedented.
We've never experienced this in the history of our country before. This is a violation of the basic rights of conscience and religious liberty. So you need to know that, and you need to begin to speak up.
Earlier this week, Cardinal Wuerl released a letter to Catholics in the D.C. Archdiocese encouraging people to pray and learn more about ways to overturn the mandate. Meanwhile, retired New York Archbishop Cardinal Edward Egan called the mandate, quote, nothing short of a national disgrace. In a statement, Egan called the violation of conscience an attack on all the best in the history and traditions of our country. He says the decision needs to be reversed immediately and definitively. And a man who is one of the most powerful Catholic lawmakers in Washington is also dissenting from the mandate. House Speaker John Boehner has some serious concerns.
I think this mandate violates our Constitution. I think it violates the rights of these religious organizations, and I would hope that the administration would back up and take another look at this.
Another Catholic lawmaker, meanwhile, is putting forward legislation to overturn the mandate. The bill from Florida Senator Marco Rubio would allow religious organizations, hospitals, and universities that oppose contraception from covering it in their employee insurance plans. Rubio calls his measure a common-sense bill that says the government cannot force religious groups to abandon their faith. U.S. bishops, meanwhile, are supporting a separate measure. Well, the Bishops' Conference chief pro-life lobbyist says the conference is focused on the Respect for Rights of Conscience Act. He says the Rubio bill only addresses religious objections, while the measure bishops are supporting applies to all conscience objections. Over in Washington state, a victory for supporters of same-sex marriage. The Senate there voted 28-21 last night to approve same-sex marriage following a nearly hour-and-a-half-long debate. It now heads to the Washington House, which is expected to quickly pass the measure. Earlier this year, Washington Governor Christine Gregoire announced that she would support legislation to legalize same-sex marriage. Gregoire, who is Catholic, is expected to sign the bill. Earlier this month, Washington state bishops issued a statement urging citizens to maintain the legal definition of marriage. Well, the judge in the sex abuse case from the Archdiocese of Brooklyn says abuse is widespread in the Catholic Church. Her comments came as she reviewed a list of questions for potential jurors. She told lawyers to remove a question asking, quote, do you believe child sex abuse is a widespread problem in the Catholic Church? The judge said anyone that does not think there is widespread abuse in the church is, quote, living on another planet. A lawyer representing the Archdiocese's former Secretary of Clergy says he was taken aback by the judge's conclusion. His client is accused of assigning priests believed to be abusers to new parishes. Closer to home, vandals struck a church in our own backyard. According to reports, the workers at Our Lady of Mount Carmel Church in Williamsburg discovered the damage on Wednesday morning. A statue of St. Jude was broken. The vandals drew on a Virgin Mary statue and wrote a four-letter word on a Bible. The police hate crimes unit is investigating. Meanwhile, the Ireland's Prime Minister says that the decision to close his country's Vatican embassy will be reviewed. The country's foreign minister had announced last year that the embassy would be closed for financial reasons. The announcement came following fallout over reports of widespread abuse in the Irish Church. Well, another loss for the Catholic Church, Rome Reports remembers one of its founders.
He was a pioneer of communication, especially when it came to the Catholic Church. His wish was to launch an international news agency. Alfonso Nieto achieved that goal with Rome Reports. As one of its main founders, he was also the agency's first president.
Mr. Alfonso Nieto was a very cordial and loving person. He always opened our minds. When it came to our work, he said we shouldn't settle. He always said the church had the best message. As journalists, he told us we had the responsibility of offering that message with quality to the public.
He passed away Thursday morning at the age of 79 in Pamplona, a city where he spent a big part of his life. For 12 years, he was rector of the University of Navarra in Spain. He also received honorary degrees from 2 universities. He even helped launch the Faculty of Communication at the Pontifical University of the Holy Cross in Rome. In one of his last publications, he focused on theology and spirituality of the time. Interestingly, he wrote, "The currency of eternal glory is the time one dedicates to God. That's where the word happiness finds its true meaning without comparison."
Un antico proverbio consiglia: quando bevi della fontana, non dimenticarti mai della sorgente. La gratitudine va al cielo. Lì è la sorgente. Gli insegnamenti che trassi da San José María Escrivá mi portarono a scegliere liberamente di dedicarmi professionalmente alla comunicazione, sia in ambito imprenditoriale che nella docenza e nella ricerca universitaria.
And stay tuned, there's more Currents ahead. Coming up, football may be on the minds of most people in Indianapolis, but a church there is injecting a whole lot of faith. Welcome back. Well, football fans across the nation gearing up to watch our New York Giants take on the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 46. Kickoff will take place this Sunday, February 5th at Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, and you can feel the excitement in the air. Gisele Bündchen, wife of Patriots quarterback Tom Brady, is covering all bases to make sure their hometown team is victorious, and that includes sending an email to friends and family asking them to pray hard for her husband to win the championship. Now, that email, which somehow made its way into the New York Post, does remind us many people seek the power of divine intervention when something important is on the line, which brings us to Indianapolis, where Lucas Oil Stadium is not the only location where important events will play out. One historic church is going all out to make sure the throngs of visitors, fans, and parishioners expected to fill the heart of the city have an opportunity to embrace and celebrate faith amid the Super Bowl festivities. Joining me now with a preview of the events is Father Rick Nagel. He's the administrator of St. John the Evangelist Catholic Church. Father Nagel, thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure. We're so grateful to be able to open wide our doors to Christ and to share our story with you guys out east.
And we're so happy to talk to you. Father, St. John the Evangelist Church is over 140 years old. It's a historic church and now at the center of festivities surrounding Sunday's Super Bowl at Lucas Oil Stadium. What are some of the events that the church has planned?
Well, we literally have opened wide our doors to the street, and our front doors are where the zip lines end that people are experiencing, as well as the beginning of the village of the Super Bowl. And so by opening the doors, we're just welcoming in thousands, actually, of visitors every day. And in addition to that, of course, our sacraments are being offered daily, the Holy Mass. We're hearing confession. We're having holy hours of adoration. But also in the afternoon and evenings, we're giving tours of our sacred church. It's a very lively community of parishioners who have been so gracious to be trained as what we've called St. John Evangelists. Mm-hmm. So we have 70 trained parishioners to be able to give tours of the church, at the same time catechizing and sharing the good news and the story of what it means to be Catholic, why we believe what we do, and the good news of Jesus Christ and the gospel.
And Father, I understand your evangelists will be exploring the architecture of the church and explaining all about that and how it embodies the Catholic faith. Can you give us a preview of what visitors could expect to hear about the architecture, the church, and its history?
Sure. Well, we're a Romanesque Gothic style structure, and so of course, on the outside of the church are two beautiful spires that point us to heaven. And so to be able to explain that everything that's on the outside and the inside of that sacred space is pointing to something more. From stained glass windows that explain who St. John the Evangelist is and was, to the holy altar and the high altar, to the Gothic pulpit, to the baptismal font, everything pointing to something more that points us to God and in our relationship with Him.
Father, it sounds absolutely beautiful. And also during this time, you encourage parishioners, visitors, fans, everyone to embrace the new evangelization, which is alive and well in the heart of the city. Talk to us more about that.
Well, you know, Pope Paul VI, when he wrote his encyclical, Evangelization of the Modern World, really just challenged us as Catholics to live that mission of church. That very mission of the Catholic Church is to evangelize, to welcome people to and invite them to come to Christ and His church. John Paul II, you know, rocked my world in Denver in 1993 when I was right out of college, when he came to World Youth Day there. I don't remember a whole lot of what he said except for in a homily there among about 500,000 people. He profoundly said, "Young people of the world, do not be afraid. Open wide the doors to Christ. Do not be afraid. Take Him to the streets. You know, share your story." Mm-hmm. And so Pope Benedict, obviously in his early papacy, quoted those very words of John Paul. And so the new evangelization, this is our opportunity, because we get to open our doors, share our story, and really bring a message to the world, because the Super Bowl is a world event.
And Father, I have to ask you, are there more Patriots fans or Giants fans coming through those doors that are open wide?
Well, you know, mostly they've been Colts fans because we've been receiving mostly locals until probably tomorrow. We'll see a lot more of the visitors coming from the East Coast. But thus far, a lot of people from all around Indiana and the city here in Indianapolis. Yeah.
Father, my understanding is you have more than 100,000 visitors expected to be in the town, tens of thousands of them walking by the church on streets largely closed to vehicular traffic. You got 10 days leading up to the Super Bowl. This has all been happening, and it presents quite an audience for you. Is this the first such celebration by St. John the Evangelist Church?
No, you know, the beauty of St. John the Evangelist is we've been here in the heart of the city for 175 years. And so through the years, their doors have been open to so many visitors and events, of course. In recent days, we've been blessed as our city has kind of been revived by, by the leadership of our town, by bringing sports teams here, by opening a larger convention center. And so we've had that opportunity even more fully recently. But so many great parishioners and priests, religious over the years, have done the same thing we're doing to open up the doors and bring people to Christ here.
And a lot of fun things happening. I understand Pope Benedict will be in attendance. Well, sort of. Tell us how visitors will be able to take a picture with our Holy Father.
Yeah, we just have a life-size cutout of our Holy Father Pope Benedict inside the narthex, where you can have a photo taken with him. We have some signs out on our fences around the church that invite people in to have that done. We also have a big sign at the end of the zip line, which is right in front of our church doors, that said, if you think that riding the zip line was a thrill, come on in and visit Jesus.
And I'm going to put you on the line, Father. A quick prediction for the game?
Oh, boy. You know what we're going to do is when we bring up the gifts for the preparation of the altar at all our masses, we're going to have somebody from both the Patriots and the Giants bringing up the gifts so we can show the unity and community of our church and our world, right?
All right. Nicely done. Thank you so much, Father Rick Nagel. Thank you for joining us today, and enjoy that wonderful weekend.
We will. Thanks so much, and may God bless all of you and your visit and all your listeners.
Thank you so much. Stay tuned. There's more currents ahead. When we return, this Catholic Academy in Flushing is at the head of the class. It's our latest School of the Week.
The object of the Catholic school is to have the children expand their ability to be independently kind, loving, and follow the precepts of loving everyone, helping everyone.
Finally tonight, this week is Catholic Schools Week, but here on Currents, the value of Catholic education is always in focus. Each Thursday, we bring you a brand new School of the Week, looking at academies in Brooklyn and Queens, instilling a foundation of faith for new generations. And for our latest School of the Week, we recently paid a visit to Holy Redeemer Academy in Flushing as it prepared for Catholic Schools Week.
Catholic Schools Week is a way to showcase our schools, the wonders of our schools, you know, because there are many wonderful things happening in our schools. But at Most Holy Redeemer Catholic Academy, Catholic Schools Week for us is every week of the year. This is not something that's different, you know, although we are doing special things, you know, every week is special here.
I think I would like them to get out of Catholic School Week that it's a memory of fun, learning, and kindness that they can move throughout their everyday lives.
I celebrate it every day of the week, so it doesn't really make a difference to me whether it's 1 week out of the year or every day of the year. I'm in a Catholic school for a reason. I teach Catholic school children for a reason, because this is my faith. This is what I believe.
You can get good academics in many places, you know, and I believe we have good academics here. I think that the missing piece is that here it's a gospel-based message every day.
The object of the Catholic school is to have the children expand their ability to be independently kind, loving, and follow the precepts of loving everyone, helping everyone. And they learn while they're doing it.
It's infused in our curriculum. So even in gym class, the gospel's present.
The students here perform very well, but you have to look past the numbers sometimes and ask yourself, are the children happy? And one thing I will say about the students in this school, they are very happy.
We have a very exuberant community. There's a lot of spirit. I know every child's name, and all the teachers know the children. We know parents are entrusting to us their children, which is the greatest gift for us. You know, that's our most precious commodity. Each child is special, each child is different, and they're treated that way here.
I sense family, I sense love, I sense respect. So that makes this place very special to me.
The children do look forward to Catholic Schools Week because it is their chance to shine. You know, they get to show off the good stuff that they're doing all year round.
The excitement does tend to build up because they look forward to the different activities that we do during the week.
We have spelling bees, we have poetry theater, we have poetry readings, story theater, we have Teacher Appreciation Day, we have Student Appreciation Day.
So it's a lot of fun. It's great fun.
But we also would have a lot of that same stuff going on even during regular weeks. Just that that week is more concentrated because it's Catholic Schools Week.
We love to have the parents come, see what the children are doing every day.
We have open house in the evening for people who are working, but we also have it during the day because I think there's nothing better than for people to see the students in the classrooms living the gospel message in the everyday atmosphere that we have.
And we want them to share with their parents, as well as have the parents share with us what's going on at home.
It's a calling. I have been called to do something, to work with children, to make a difference in their lives. So faith is a part of that life.
I think in faith as well as in life, it's important to know that everything you do is important, and everything you do is going to have a lasting memory. It's not just for the moment.
The best sales pitch of all is to see the children in action. They're ready for that moment to be our best spokespeople and tell the good news of Most Holy Redeemer Catholic Academy.
That is all for this edition of Currents. Coming up tomorrow, what makes a Catholic media company? We'll find out. Until then, be sure to visit us online at crowd.And. We're also on Facebook and Twitter. You can also email us, and the address there is dropusaline@crowd.And. For all of us here at Currents, I'm Liz Faublas. Thank you for watching, and have a great night.